we're going to replace Acuity Scheduling with SpreadSimple, which is powered by Google Sheets, and we're going to do all of this with the help of Integromat for the automation. So let me actually show you what is currently being used. This is for an art gallery, and this is their website with the events page, and it's just an Acuity Embed where you can come here and sign up for an event, fill out your name and information, and you can pay. However, all of their clients actually select the pay later and pay at the event. So today we're not going to worry about any of the payments, even though SpreadSimple does allow that. So to get started, we're actually going to log into Google Sheets. We're going to start with a blank sheet, and we are going to fill in some of the column titles. So I have a title here for the event, the date, the time, length, description, price, photo, class size, spots remaining, number registered, as well as the class name. So I'm going to get started by filling in some of this information, and now I am going to write 3 formulas in column A, column I, and column J so that this spreadsheet is dynamic and it updates in real time with the help of Integromat. So the class size less the number registered equals the spots remaining in a class. So again, this column I, we're just going to subtract the class size with the number registered. For the event title, we're actually going to give it the class name. However, if the spots remaining is 0, we want to say that the event is sold out. So we will do that by simply saying equals if spots remaining equals 0, then we want it to say the class name and, which is the little ampersand sign, quote, open space, sold out in big capitals, close quote, comma, and then if it's false, so if there's, not 0, if there's spots remaining, then we want it to say the class name. And then we'll just close that up. And if we put 0 in here, then we'll see that the column A goes to sold out. So now we've got a basic if statement there. We have a subtraction there. And now we just need to use a formula for the number registered. And on this sheet, I'm actually going to create a second sheet. And on this sheet 2, we're going to call it class list. And we're going to make a class list to update every time someone orders or registers for a class, they'll be applied to this list. So some basic information here will be the class name, the attendee who bought or registered, the phone number, the email, the registered number. This is a number of registrations as well as the amount due. So back to our main spreadsheet, and let's actually title this SpreadSimple. We are going to create a lookup here. So we're going to do a SUMIF formula, and we are going to select the sum range, in which case I want to look at the class name. So let's actually make sure that it is highlighted, and then let's go to our class list and select this class list A column. Next up, we're going to give it a criteria, in which case we are going to look at this class name here, which is K2 in our example. You can see K2, and we're going to have that look up against the sum range. So here, the sum range, we want to count the number of people registered. So I'm going to close that up, and then we should see 0 registered. But we'll see in a little bit, once we set up the automation, that will change as more people register to the class. So now we have everything filled out as we would need for the events. And moving forward, each event will just need to be filled out right here. So let's jump into SpreadSimple now, and let's actually paste the Google Sheet link. So on our Google Sheet, we want to share this, and we want to make sure that we change this to anyone with the link and copy the link. We'll click done and jump back to SpreadSimple, where we will paste in the link and click continue. So inside of SpreadSimple, we now need to map all of this information. So let's map the title and call it the event name. The subtitle, let's actually go with the date. And then down here for specifications, I want to give all of the information that's needed for the class. So we're going to go with the date one more time, as well as the start time, the length, the class size, and the spots remaining. This should give everyone a little bit of information about the class, the gist of it, as well as the price. And then we're also going to turn on filters for the date and for the price so that people can sort by date or by price. And we're also going to let people sort by date and price. And I think that'll be good enough for now. Let's click save and let's click publish. And we're going to go ahead and publish this site. And there we have it. There is our first event. We have a filter tab up here at the top by date and price, as well as a sort by date and price. And then of course people can search in, if they wanted to search for a class. So now we need to add a button here, and we want this button to be a checkout. And then we want this checkout to actually integrate with Integromat. So let's jump back into SpreadSimple and let's add our button, which we can simply scroll up here to buy. And I'm going to change this to register. And then I'm going to go to an order form and I'm going to click apply. Now we'll save it and let's jump to the checkout area. And then for webhooks, we're going to paste in a webhook here. But first we're going to jump to Integromat and we're going to create a new scenario. Inside of Integromat, we're going to be using the webhooks feature. And let's go ahead and select webhooks. Click continue. And then we're going to do a custom webhook, which triggers once data is received. So here we're going to click add. And we're going to call this SpreadSimple Seascape Events. And let's click save. And then here we will copy this address to the clipboard, click OK. And then we're going to paste that address back into SpreadSimple under webhook URL. Click save and publish. And now we should open it up and we should see that we can actually register for this class. So let's run this. Let's register and make sure that everything is firing off correctly. So let's click checkout. Click OK, jump back to Integromat, make sure that everything was received. You can see here the scenario was completed. So again, you're going to run it once and then you're going to go and you're going to fill out the form. You're going to fill out your form, register, and then you're going to get to this point where everything's been received. So now we need to add another module. And here we are going to type in Sheets and bring up Google Sheets. And we're going to add a row to our spreadsheet every time someone registers. Let's select our spreadsheet and then we will load up the class list page or sheet. And then here we'll see that the table does contain headers. So let's actually map this data. So under class name, we're going to go to cart items and we're going to select the title. The attendee who booked is the client name. And then we've got the phone number and we have the email, as well as the number of items they booked for. So here under quantity, it will be the number registered. And then the amount due will be the total amount. That's all the information we need for this. So let's click OK. And let's run this once and jump back into SpreadSimple and register. And let's go ahead and do 2, and then we'll click checkout. We will jump back into Integromat and we'll see that everything worked correctly. So now we should be able to jump onto our sheet. And we see right here we've got 2 registered. This is the main sheet. And then on our class list, we'll see that we have John, who is registered for the Lazy Susan class. So it's just that simple. Maybe you want to change up some formatting here. Maybe you want to format this, to your client's liking, whatever it may be. Let's go in and do dollars. But it is that easy to set this up. And if you wanted to add one for notes, you could simply add a notes column here and also bring in that note data. Let's jump back to Integromat and let's edit this. So at a later date, if you need to come back in here, you can update the spreadsheet and then change things inside of Integromat. And then here we're going to add message to the notes column. And then again, we'll select OK. And at this point, I'm actually just using Notion for the images. So if we click View Original, I just drag these images into Notion for now. And then I'll paste the actual Notion hosted image into Photo. That's probably a short-term solution here. I don't know if we're going to go with this route with SpreadSimple. I think that we will. We're going to definitely test things out and make sure everything is good. So you want to make sure that on your spreadsheet, you format things or you do something to show that the formulas are formulas when you're entering in this data. So one of the things that I like to do is just a simple red, and you could also protect the cells and do a bunch of things. Is probably what I would recommend, but we're just getting started today. So now we've got two classes on here. Let's jump back to SpreadSimple, refresh our website, and now we've seen that a second class has been added. This is a second date. And let's go ahead and actually register, and let's fill this out so that 8 people sign up for the class at one time. And let's check out, and the order's been received. And then we can come back here, and what we should see is 8 spots. We should see this. Actually, no, we need to turn on our Integromat. So let's actually run this once, and it'll capture. So let's process existing. And it will update everything, and then we're just going to need to actually turn this on. So let's go down here, and we can run the scenario immediately, and now everything is on. And then on our spreadsheet, if we jump to the class list, we'll see that Janet registered 8 people. So we now have this website that we can embed within their website here and replace this Acuity calendar. So if you want to embed this into your website, you can come down here to Settings, under General. So Settings, General, Widget Code. You can copy this code and then embed it into the body area of a website. So now if we want to come onto the website and actually update things, let's edit the page. And we can come in here and we could drag in HTML, drag this down here, and then paste this code from SpreadSimple. So here's our widget code from SpreadSimple. We can paste it in here. And then what we should be able to do is save this draft. And then let's see if we can actually preview this page. Let's preview the changes. I don't want to actually update this. And here's our new website with the new events. And it's got the sort feature. So obviously what we would want to do is make this a full width canvas. Or if we want to, inside of SpreadSimple, we can actually come back here, and under content, we could even change this so that it's got that drop down style. And I kind of like the bigger font, but we could do the drop down style. Let's go ahead and publish this. And then if we refresh our preview, what we should see is that it updates right there, just like that. So this would be the new form of registering for classes. As opposed to the old. This was Acuity's version. So all in all, I think it is very similar. And then you can come here and you can click register, fill out all of this information. Now we could also take them to a different, more details tab if we wanted to. We could put video inside of these photos. On the additional details tab, we have a shopping cart here. So it looks different than Acuity. But, you know, it's mostly the same functionality. So is this a perfect Acuity alternative for group classes? I don't know. It depends on what you do with Acuity, if you use a lot of their advanced features or not. I hope this video brought you some value. Forgive my appearances today. We are going with the quarantine haircut, but we can effectively replace, at least in this client's use case, Acuity scheduling for their needs. Will my client go with this option, or will they stick with Acuity? Stay tuned to find out. I don't know. I've got to talk to them. Acuity has a monthly recurring. Now, the one caveat, and I actually reached out and talked to SpreadSimple about this, is that sold out thing. If it's sold out, if the class is sold out, people can still register for the class. There's no way to prohibit where the class actually shows up as sold out and then the button turns off or something. They say they're looking into ways to handle inventory management when it hits 0, but currently all inventory management must be done in Excel. So in this video, we've kind of done a little bit of inventory management, so to speak, as far as updating our spreadsheets every time someone actually signs up for a class. And then once it hits 0, we do have it updating multiple places on the sheet. But I'll get out of here now. My name is Scott with aiPROFITz.com, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.